The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Would you come if I asked you to ride with me on this one-way road that leads? Oh, I don't know, but I will take you anywhere you see. I know what you need, and what you've done is exactly what I
Welcome to Counterflow. I'm James.
I'm Alan.
And we're alone.
Pacho's not here. I think he won't be able to make it today.
No, unfortunately, he won't be able to make it today, so you're stuck with us for the next 45 minutes or so. But, well, no, we've done this before. This is actually how we started, Alan.
Yeah, we always do this.
I mean, no, we actually started Counterflow, just the two of us on the air, many years ago.
Was that back in RT or was it
K-Light first.
In K-Light, okay. But you started in RT, right? For a couple of weeks.
Yeah, actually, if you want to know the history of Counterflow, it did actually start with Neil Almighty from RT.
Yes.
Neil and myself were, well, during the days of the Hive. Yeah, that's a good way to do the show, right? Let's go back to the history.
Yep.
Now that we have to fill up 45 minutes by ourselves. So yeah, basically how it started is Alan and I were on the Hive 100.3.
Yep.
And on my morning show in the Hive 100.3, that was 2001, 2000, 99.
I still remember the date, James. Unbelievable.
Yeah, June. I started June 99 and then all the way until June of 2001, actually. Mark, well, we called him Mark, but his real name was Neil, was my traffic reporter from traffic.com, who eventually became Neil Almighty.
Well, yeah.
And he was with RT. And so when I left the radio and we started C Magazine, which we'll be talking about in just a little while, our next newest issue, yeah, I guess Neil decided that, yeah, it's been a while, why don't you just guest on the show? And I guested on the show a few times, but it was erratic, it wasn't something that was done every week. And then after that, Alan had a show on K-Light.
K-Light, yeah, I remember. Yeah. I was on 4 to 8, and it was a perfect time slot, right? Because,
yeah.
Right after my time slot was Counterflow, which was from
8 to 9, or
yeah, I think we started 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, and then I think a lot of people listened to the show. We
yeah,
were
it was
so happy.
crazy,
and it rated as well. So I think we were given a couple of hours. I'm really not sure if the show went from an hour to a couple of hours. I think
I remember in K-Light we only did it for 1 hour. It was 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
Because we took your time. We took an hour out of your show.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
you effectively donated an hour out of
I
Alan's
remember.
show.
I got it all wrong. I was 6 to 10 back then.
Yeah, 6 to 10. That's right. So the last hour on a Wednesday, 9 to 10, you just donated it to Counterflow. So in a way, we didn't have to get management's approval, etc. Because trying to set up a new car show at that time was probably just unheard of.
Yep. Yeah, we were the first.
We were the first. So as a dedicated car show, we could say that we were the first, because with Neil it was a guest. But it did give birth to this idea. And then later on, that was on for about a few years, actually, and 9 to 10.
K-Light reformat to...
well, actually, before that, 2005, after the Ford Lynx Cup, I raced against Pacho Blanco, as we all know him, from Auto Plus. And after racing with him...
You won the series, right?
He cheated, but yeah.
He
choice of words.
He's not here.
Choice of words, yeah. No, he won that series. But what was particularly impressive at that time was Pacho. I guess he shared with me some tips and tricks and stuff like that, and then I got to know him very well. And he was so well entrenched. So we invited him on the show. He just never left.
Yeah,
he never left.
That was it.
We couldn't get rid of him. So we were in K-Light until about...
So Pacho was already with us
in K-Light. Yeah, I could picture him there in the booth, and he started guesting, and then eventually became more
Became,
permanent. And then eventually, when K-Light reformatted, it became Heart, right?
Heart, yeah.
When they reformatted, we decided to. We got an offer from NU 107.
Yeah.
And we went there. That's when we went 2 hours.
So, yeah, 2 hours and.
Or no, we an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, and they said, "Why don't you just 2?"
Yeah, then 2,
Yeah.
and then later on, NU reformatted. I don't know if you're seeing a pattern here. RT got reformatted.
Right.
K-Light got reformatted. NU got reformatted. Next week, NMF will be.
You're crazy, James.
All the guys in back are all worried. So, no. So yeah, that's basically the history of Counterflow, and since then, it's been going great. And now it's a podcast. It took a while for us to actually get into the groove of.
Oh yeah, we've
right?
always talked about getting the show into podcast, and then became a reality when you hooked up with Basti.
Yeah, with Babasi from NMF. But the thing is, as a dedicated podcast, we sort of took a while to get our groove because we didn't sort of know, okay, how do we do this? There's we're used to radio now. All of a sudden, there's video, there's cameras. But the thing with the podcast is we're getting about, well, we fluctuate. But I got the latest figures, and I would probably say we probably get an average. We peaked out at 20,000 downloads a week, and then we went. It goes like this a little bit, so I would probably say about 15,000. Just seems like a fair number if you look at the seesaws. But we spiked at 20,000 downloads a week, and yeah, we're still getting the groove back. So, you know, it's great to have you guys. What's really nice is we're getting messages on Facebook, on my personal page, sometimes on the Counterflow page. People who are downloading the show, that seems to be the people who are listening to it. They're downloading it and putting it in their cars. And, you know, nowadays it's so easy, you know, with a smartphone. All you have to do is subscribe, go to iTunes, look for Counterflow, and any of the other NMF network shows. And you just click subscribe, and it goes straight into your podcast. You can automatically sync the last 4 or the last 3 or whatever. And that means every time you sync your phone with your laptop, you're always just getting it there. So you might be in a long drive. You might think, oh, traffic. Listen to the latest Counterflow, and it's right there. So, you know, pretty cool.
Everybody's using, everybody's got a phone. And I'm pretty sure if you're bored, that's what a lot of people usually do. Just tinker with their phones.
Exactly. You can and you can do it while you're biking. You can do it while running. You can go listen to the car, streaming Bluetooth, and all that. Cool. So we got the only downside, of course, is the live listenership is, you know, compared to radio.
It's so different.
It's different. It's different. So, but hey, if you are out there, 478-7954. That's a milestone. It's the first time I didn't ask for it.
Wow,
yeah.
You memorized it already.
And now they're probably going to tell me it's the wrong number. But no, 478-7954. If you want to give us a call, just chat with us. Join the show. I mean, that's what it's all about. Nice thing, it's just, you can say whatever you like. Hopefully it's motoring related. Speaking of motoring related, this is the latest issue of C Magazine. So we've got the Maserati Ghibli on the cover. And that is the winds of change there for Maserati because, Alan, I bet you already knew this, but for the sake of those who didn't, the word Ghibli is the Italian word for a North African wind. I figured going there to Italy to test this car out and seeing what they plan to do with this car, from 6,200 Maseratis a year, they're planning to go up to 50,000 a year by 2015.
That's just a big of a jump.
That's a wind of change right there, right? I mean, that's really where Maserati is going to shift into this bigger playing field. I mean, huge arena. We're talking against the 5 Series. Oddly enough, the
will
5
be in the same price range if you're going to buy a Maserati Ghibli. Is it going to be just like buying an M5 or an
No,
IS350?
I would think, although prices, I got the word here from the distributor here, which is Autostrada, and the guys who Maserati Ferrari, that's the Sung company. They said that, well, they can't give us prices yet, but expect it to be priced as a premium, slightly premium 5 Series. It also competes against, actually more competes against the A7, the CLS, the BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe. That's its target market. It's not quite 4-door sedan like the 5 Series. It is more along the lines of these
GT Sporty.
Yes.
Classic.
these sloped rears and stuff like that. And as you can see from it, it's got 4 doors. It's got a pretty awesome design, but the design is probably the most controversial part about this car. Because while I think it looks quite stunning, it does say, I'll have to say that some people have said look Korean.
Korean?
Yeah.
Really?
If you look at the Kia, some of the Kia Optimas and stuff like that, you'll see a lot of the same lines. But that's not an insult. It's actually a compliment nowadays. Right? It used to be a time when you'd say it was an insult, but when you got Peter Schreier heading up the design and now CEO of Kia.
But who was first with the design of the car? I mean,
of Maserati?
Yeah, of Maserati.
Well, that's the thing. This is a whole new design shift. They're really going into this new.
So it just so happened that it looks similar to
yeah.
Okay. Kia.
But the Kias, remember, Kia came from Audi. Schreier came from Audi.
Right.
So
there are a lot of similarities.
Yes, and so that's where the Euro look is coming from. I mean, when you say it looks like a Kia nowadays, take that as a real compliment because the Kias nowadays, I think, look awesome.
Wow.
I mean,
they're
really,
handsome
really.
cars.
I think they're the most handsome cars, at least Asian. Well, not all Asian cars, but definitely Korean cars by far.
Yep.
By far.
That's right.
Also this month, we've got, well, the nice thing about this issue, we've got how many supplements? We got one. We got a wheel-to-wheel pull-out supplement there. That's our motorcycle issue. Basically, every month we've been doing motorcycles for a few months now. Now it's actually a lift-out, no extra price. My lapel mic is tugging at the hairs in my chest. This is a tear eye moment. Ow. This is why I hate live stuff. Okay, let me see if I can just talk among yourselves.
And one thing's exciting about this new issue is the Comparo, right? The Comparo of the CUVs. It's there, James.
It's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about the
It's hard to concentrate when you got this Lecoplast tugging at your little hairs.
Mine is still okay, thankfully.
It's falling. Okay, yes, we do have actually the. Is the audio still okay? Because on my.
Okay, it's hard to adjust, James. Okay, the camera's.
Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but you can count the hairs there, and they're long ones too.
James, you're grossing them out.
I'm just gonna walk up and show you, but that's.
I can see it from here.
Yeah, I know it's bad. It's bad.
You can put it. Are you just gonna hold it or just gonna put it back?
I'll hold it like this. Can I hold it? All right.
That's too loud. Okay.
I'll hold it like
have
this.
To be adjusting it.
Okay. You
crazy.
want this? Okay.
No, thanks.
It's really bad. Okay. So we've got now a couple of pullouts there, as well as what I find very interesting. Let's go by it through the table of contents just so you sort of get the idea. The new Fiesta.
The new Fiesta
is there. That has got an all-new engine, so it's a 1.5 now, and that's a great new car to have. It's got that Aston Martin grille.
Yeah, that's what I really love about that car.
Yes,
it's the look.
The look, and compared to your Fiesta, this is promises to be more fuel efficient because it's the 1.5.
Okay.
And the 1.5 engine was brought in basically for fuel efficiency, of course, and because in Thailand there are incentives to go 1.5. Okay. So that's why they built it like that and reworked it to do that. So we've got, aside from the Ford Fiesta, we've also got the 2014 Ford Shelby GT500. Smoking car.
Were you able to drive one already?
Not the latest Shelby, no, but it's well over 600 horsepower. Kevin Lamoka takes that out to on the streets of California. We've also got the Lexus GS 450h. Love that car. That car is just wow. And also the CUV Comparo. That's what you were talking about. Yeah, you shot this, right?
Yep, I shot it.
Where did you shoot this?
That was in Clark International Raceway.
Okay, and
we were there
that's right. That's right. Okay.
Rainy day. It was raining really hard, and James, yeah.
Okay, we'll take a commercial break and we'll fix up this lapel mic.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with a game Chubby Bunny. But
What's like?
have you played Chubby Bunny before?
No.
You put a marshmallow in your mouth. You say Chubby Bunny. And you keep putting it in your mouth. And you keep
Okay.
saying Chubby Bunny.
Okay.
Whoever
Let's
can
do
fit
it.
the most in their mouth wins. But we're not gonna say Chubby Bunny. We're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you, okay ka na ba?
Okay.
And you're gonna be like, okay na, okay na.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go.
2 at a time.
Alright, we're gonna do it time. Okay ka na ba? What?
Okay na. Okay na.
Good.
I just saw it.
Okay ka na ba?
Okay na. Okay na.
Okay ka na ba?
Okay na. Okay na.
What? Okay. No, that was perfect.
Just one of the many shows that you can watch here on NMF. Download them. There's a whole host of stuff. If you go to nmfnetwork.tv, you can see the whole lineup, and there's really something for just about every genre out there.
That's great.
Okay, so now this is back to the old school holding this, but at least I don't have those clingers that were just like, it's like they were trying to abseil down on my hairs, and it was pulling slowly. You know what? The worst thing you can do when you pull off a Band-Aid is do it slowly. You just have to rip it. This was not the rip it. This was the woohoo, woohoo. Oh man, it was
Tarzan.
they were Tarzaning there in my hairs. Okay, so you were asking about CUV Comparo. The results of that are quite alarming. We can't tell you what they are, but
Yeah, we already did.
let's just pretend
back, but
for new listeners, the results will surprise you in that one. You were asking about the Ghibli. The Ghibli is a sensational new car, only because it opens up Maserati and the prestige and luxury of Maserati to a wider audience. So,
is it a huge car, James?
no, it's not. It's really feels about the size of a trim and taut 5 Series.
Jeez, okay.
Because it's tuned. It's very sporty. It's nowhere near as big as the Quattroporte.
Yeah.
The Quattroporte is 5 meters and
That's just-
26.
that's just
This
long.
is, I think, just under 5 meters.
Okay.
So it's very, very big difference in handling. The engine is a Ferrari engine, or should I say it's a Maserati-built engine in the Ferrari factory.
Okay.
But with Maserati engine.
But is it gonna have just one engine, or are there
No.
gonna be variants? Like,
No,
are they gonna
no.
have a V8 or?
No. Well,
it's just a V6.
The V8, they didn't reveal any news about that, because I think they're going to save that for the Quattroporte. It makes more sense.
Yeah, you're right.
To really differentiate them. So they're starting out with the V6 and the twin turbo, and also the biggest one is the diesel. The diesel engine will,
They're gonna have a diesel engine.
They do. They launch it with the diesel already, and they'll be bringing the diesel line up here. Now it's
So we're able to drive both the diesel
both.
and
I prefer the gasoline by far, because when you have a car like this, I don't know, the diesel sound, even though they put in actuators
It just doesn't,
and acoustics, and they had that tuned, it doesn't really, there's just no way to replicate a high revving V8 or a V6. In this case, it'll be a V6. Hand-built sort of Maserati engine with a Ferrari. It's basically a Ferrari as well. That is just doesn't suit it. But they're opening it up. That's why it's a big shift for the company. It's a very big risk, because they'll open it up to a whole new bunch of people. But for them to do that, they have to go diesel, especially in Europe. It's just no getting away with it. So there. So what about you? What happened with you? What's your story?
Nothing much. Just resting, relaxing.
We went to the CRZ launch in Batangas. That was really cool.
I heard you won because they had a contest there.
Yeah, they did.
The fastest time, and the one that saved fuel the most.
Yes. This is a really interesting setup they did, and I think this is probably the best way that manufacturers could have safe competitions that are relevant, because having a best time of the day when you're driving around in a road car, not always very responsible, not always very good, not always very relevant. So what Honda did here, Honda Philippines did a fantastic job by creating an event through George Ramirez as well.
Okay.
who helped out. But this is a patented thing that they do. They just came from Japan doing it. So apparently they do this all around the world, where they take the CRZ and they bring it to a racetrack and they invite journalists and whoever to come in and compete against each other. Rather than just best time of the day,
You're right.
they say, okay, you need to drive a manual, you need to drive an automatic. You get 3 laps in the manual, 3 laps in the automatic. You get practice and everything, and once the flag goes, it's go. And it's wheel to wheel.
Wow.
You're wheel to wheel. The thing is, as tempting as it is, you have to work out in your mind, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to go fast, or do you prefer to save fuel? Because you can't get both, right?
Okay.
So, but they'll give you points for your time. So if you want to say, okay, no, you know what? I'll just go flat out. I'll get the best time of the day, and I'll put a huge gap between me and those guys there. I'll take a hit with fuel consumption, but by the time they work it out, you might still win the overall. You might be first place in the time and 7th place in the fuel consumption, but then when you add the points up from the fuel consumption and then you get the average,
yeah,
your
right.
overall might be, well, you first or second. They said you'll never get that wide contrast where you can get
right.
first. If you get first there, you'll suffer here, and it's a big risk. So as a driver, you're thinking, as you're driving the car, you're going, okay, wait. You're really thinking about conserving fuel,
And at the same time,
maintaining momentum, but being quick too.
Yeah.
So it's not like these
Wow.
silly challenges where nobody drives like that.
Yeah.
This is like, how do I get there the fastest possible way using the least possible fuel?
So how?
So how? Okay, well, you gotta plan ahead. It's like on the
Right.
road. It's no different than when you're driving on the road. You just need to plan ahead. Now it helps knowing the racetrack because you know when you can sort of scrub off speed. When I wouldn't brake into the corners because
You're right. You just
I know the corners are wide enough. So all you do, when I say don't brake into the corners, some of them are hairpins. But all I would do was,
just slow down enough
You
for you to be
use-
able to make that turn.
it's about reading the racetrack.
Yeah.
Or if you want to use it on the road, reading the road. There's no point me flooring it only to just have to come hard on the brakes in the end.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, that's what you do in racing. You floor it until the last possible second. You hit your braking point. You brake as hard as you possibly can. You carry as much corner speed into the corner, and then you accelerate out. Of course, that's in a 100% race. But what you're doing, what I did in the CRZ, because they said that when they're awarding, they said we've had people who've won the best time. Of course, people who win the best mileage.
Yeah.
It's the first time in the world, and I know this is going to sound really self-serving, but
It's just
it's
great.
what they said. The first time they've had it in the world where somebody got the best time of the day and also got the best consumption of the day.
Wow, and it's changed.
Yeah.
Wow.
But okay, bragging
That is
aside, because I know that's
awesome.
a super shameless plug. But bragging aside, seriously, what was really good about it and what you get out of it is it teaches you how to read road conditions to save fuel.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a slowpoke. You can still be quick or fast or quick enough and save fuel. So what I did was you read the racetrack. When you're coming in, there's an uphill like that. There's no point flooring it, like I said, only to come out hard on the brakes. So you know that there's going to be a downhill coming up. So you just lift off. And then you just let the car cruise down, whatever. You can use the gears to go down instead of the brakes. Anyway, it's use the momentum of the car. And it's the same thing that happens on the road. Read the traffic lights. You're gonna be driving. And nowadays we're lucky we have the counters on the traffic
Yeah,
lights.
at least you can see when it's going to
And a lot of people still, I see them race up the traffic lights only to just stop hard. If it's got 30 seconds to go, back off already.
Yeah, you're
just
right.
back off and just use those 30 seconds to just cruise. Because once you're off the gas, you're just gaining a lot of mileage. You're basically getting mileage for nothing because your foot's off the gas. But if you're idling, yes, you're still idling. You're using gas and you're not going anywhere. So just read it. If you see that there's going to be a situation that you could sort of avoid it, look down the road and then just try and
do a forecast.
do a forecast. And then that when you know where you're going, you'll be able to sort of use your power accordingly. Just don't keep reacting. So I thought it was a great event because, yeah, it was exciting.
That's an
It was
amazing
safe,
feat.
of course, very safe, because you're not really going that fast.
And you're pretty much familiar with the CRZ because we got to drive it.
Yes.
In Ilocos.
Yes.
It's the same, right? It's just that this one is the standard.
No,
as compared to
they
the
have a Sports Plus button, which uses the Sports Plus button is the newest addition to the CRZ, which they didn't have when we drove it in Ilocos.
okay.
It has, you press it and it gives you an extra boost of battery power while you're on the gas. So
That
you're driving, and this is like Kurz.
so much stronger than the one that we drove, the Mugen CRZ.
Yes, because what it's doing is it's really juicing up the. You're like it's Kurz. It's basically Kurz, which we're used to in Formula One cars, where they can just get an extra 80 horsepower. But of course, in this case, it's not. They weren't able to give me an exact figure of how much it does, because I guess it's a hard figure to.
But you just feel it.
You feel it because you're gaining it from electricity, so you're gaining the speed. If you're down the straight, for example, just hit the button and just.
So that's instantaneous. Once you put it, it's all there all the time.
No, just when you turn it on, yeah, it should be just instantaneous, and it works with your throttle input.
Ah, I see.
So there you go. What else did we get up to? Oh, yeah, just came from Cebu,
Okay.
where we
What did
had
you
the
do?
Impreza challenge.
All right. You worked with Angel? Was Angel there?
Yeah, Angel Rivera was there. She was supposed to join us on the show, but she couldn't quite make it. That's pretty cool. It is basically the Impreza Challenge has been going on since 2002.
And you've been hosting it ever since.
I've been hosting it ever since 2009 because they only brought it into the Philippines 4 years ago. And that's when they invited regional people to compete. So the Impreza Challenge, it's still ongoing, so you can still register by going to motorimage.net/PH and look for them online. You can register, download the form, and you can get a chance to win the car. So they are doing qualifying rounds, and this is the first time in 4 years since they've been doing it that they're doing it regionally. They're going all around.
So after Cebu, first stop was of course Manila,
Cebu.
right?
No,
And then
no.
Cebu.
First stop was Cebu.
Cebu, okay.
Then it's going to be Davao next weekend, and then Pampanga, and then after that they go into Manila. So they're looking for one representative from Cebu, one representative from Davao, one representative from Pampanga,
Okay, so
and
they're gonna-
7 from Manila.
7.
Yeah, because
They're all going to bring them to Singapore?
Yes, because
okay.
before what they were doing were 10 people would go from Manila, would fly over to Singapore.
Singapore, okay.
The top 10. So now they're just splitting it up. One from Davao, one from Pampanga,
And just 7
one from
from the-
Cebu.
okay.
And then to join the 7 from Manila to complete the Philippine team of 10. So if you're not familiar with the Impreza Challenge, it is as simple and as difficult as putting your hand on the car like that,
Yep.
which is a predetermined raffled off hand position, because they got stickers of the hands with numbers.
Okay, so you choose the
No,
position.
you don't choose.
You don't choose.
Raffle. So you pick
Oh,
a number
raffle.
and you
Wow.
look for the corresponding number. Now, it plays a big difference. Sometimes if it's on the back windshield, it could be easier because it's on a different angle.
Yeah,
versus
you
the
can
side.
rest on the,
Yeah, there's a whole different
the hood.
And then last person to take their hand off the car wins it. And so the record stands at an amazing 81 hours, 32 minutes.
Oh my gosh,
81
that's
hours and
amazing.
32 minutes.
But of course, you're allowed to take a leak, right? If ever you
Okay, these are the rules. You're not allowed to sleep.
sleep, you
You're
can.
not allowed to do anything except keep your hand on the car. The only thing they allow you to do is every 6 hours, you take a 5-minute break. And in that
6
Yes.
hours. What if you
That's
you
it.
need to go?
Then you go and then you just forfeit. So
Oh
6
my gosh,
hours,
that's-
you keep your
that's
hand
tough.
on the car for 6 hours. At the end of 6 hours, you get 5 minutes break. In 5 minutes, you eat, you drink,
You go to the
you
bathroom.
go to the bathroom, and then you massage your hand, whatever you have to do. And in the case of Cebu, sad for them. In the case of Cebu, I've been doing this for 4 years. I've been seeing them.
Okay, and
This is the first time that we didn't have portalets. So the bathrooms were 2.5 minutes away.
wow.
Meaning there and back, at least. The average was 2.5 minutes. So by the time the first batch came back, 2.5 minutes had gone. They only have 2.5 minutes to eat. So some people were eating while running to the bathroom.
They can't eat while their hand is
They
on the
can't.
car.
They cannot do. They cannot eat. They cannot drink. They cannot take phone calls. They cannot interact with relatives or friends. They just have to keep their hand on the car, and
Oh
that's
my gosh,
it.
that's insane. 81 hours. Who's that
80
crazy guy?
George Lee.
George Lee.
And the funny thing about this, interestingly enough, the winner last year and in most years, last year was 48 years old.
Okay.
So it's not, you're not saying that, oh, this guy's got an advantage because he's
Were you
fit.
able to talk to the winner, James?
George Lee? No, I wasn't. I always
Okay.
talk to the Philippine winners because
Okay.
I don't host the Singapore.
What's their secret? How do you,
You know,
do that? That's insane.
No secret, really. There's no way you can train
just-
for this.
Want to win that STI.
It's not even an STI. It's a
It's not?
2.0.
Oh, okay. All
One
right.
year they gave away a WRX, but no, this year and last year it's a 2.0
I see.
Impreza.
I remember a
6-speed
few
manual.
years ago. I remember
One
the
year was WRX.
STI, WRX. Not
Yeah,
an
never
STI.
quite
Okay.
the STI.
Okay.
And the secret is there's not really a way to prepare, except some of the winners said that they would stand on the wall like that for about 30 minutes, a couple hours, something like that, just so they get their hands used to not cramping. Because
Okay.
what happens, what I notice with all of the people who fail, the first hour we see something like 4 or 5 people drop out. If we've got, let's say, 100 people,
Yeah.
usually 4 or 5 drop out immediately. Like some of them as soon as 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
Yeah, 13 minutes,
Wow.
and then Cebu was 16. 16 minutes because either the cramps kick in,
Okay.
but the cramps are temporary. Because after you can weather the cramps, after a while you just can't feel your hand anymore. So that's it. It's just you've basically cleared that hurdle. You've broken through that threshold of pain, and now your hand is just it's just numb. Now
Okay.
the next problem that comes is you get involuntary twitching.
Okay.
Because
I
if you're
guess
just sitting there, it's just all of a sudden they're not doing it, and you can't put your other hand on it.
Okay.
So sometimes the bouncers are like looking, you're lifting. And he's like, I can't help it. And if it lifts, even one finger,
Oh my god.
you're out.
Oh my.
So they're super strict.
Have you seen like contestants crying after?
I've seen crying. I've seen them all try and almost fight, like get into a fight with the bouncers.
Oh
and
my gosh.
because
That's
when you've
insane.
invested
So much time and-
18, 20 hours of your life on this, and you feel that you've had a bad call, they get very emotional because
But everything is recorded. They can always just rewind and just watch if it.
well, yes and no. I mean, it's not like, even if it was, I mean, we do have cameras there, but these are roving cameras. They might
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
everything. I keep telling the participants, guys, you have to be very, you have to trust the bouncers. They got nothing to gain
Yeah, you're
by
right.
calling you out. In fact, by the time they blow their whistle, it's they don't want to do it. It's no fun for them, and they get nothing out of it. And they know they're going to be upsetting you. But just think about it this way: if you were standing there for 50 hours or 60 hours, and you saw your katabe, your neighbor there, lifting off, and you'd be like, "Hey, what about him?" So
Yeah.
it has to be very strict.
Yeah, okay.
And the bouncers are, okay. One time it got a little. They didn't fight, but he accused him of them. They get a little hot tempered, then they calm down a bit. The creepiest part is when they hallucinate.
Yeah, it's because that's so boring. You're just there, and you just have to amuse yourself for
Exactly.
so long.
So long, and your mind just plays tricks on you. So here's the most heartbreaking story I can tell you about the Impreza Challenge. It was in Singapore for the car, and both people were like that.
So two left.
Just 2. So when it's 2 left, first one to lift, that's it. The other guy wins. So they were just like this. It was, I don't know, probably it's in the 70+ hour mark. And all of a sudden, one guy just goes, yes! Yes! Woo! 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 And just starts cheering. And they're looking at him going, what's wrong with you? Yes, I won! I won! In his head, he had hallucinated that he
he
won.
won.
And the other guy lifted. The other guy's got his hand in the car going, dude, I'm still here. And of course, the organizer's like, he's still there. And wow, when the penny dropped, there was sobbing and all that.
Oh my
One guy just thought he was in the church, and then he just walked off to sort of see Mama Mary who was calling him.
That is
Stuff like that.
insane.
Weird things. I mean, when you're deprived of sleep,
Yeah. Can
People
you
can go
imagine the
through
one
days
who
without
won
eating, but not without
81 hours?
Yeah.
And you're just given 5 minutes every 6 hours, so you can just
5 minutes
imagine
every
how
6
tough that
hours,
is.
and that's it. And you know what? The 5-minute mark, when you're there, there's no relief, really.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you get a little food and stuff like that. But funny things here about, or interesting things about the challenge is, I've not met one person that said they gave up because they had to use the bathroom.
Okay.
It's never really like that. It's hunger, it's boredom, it's cramps, it's they slid off by accident because of the sweat. The call of nature, no.
No.
Because I guess they prepare themselves. They don't drink so much. They don't eat so much. And, it's just, you can control that. But what you can't control is, how your mind wanders, the mental fitness.
Especially when you're really tired already. That's tough.
Yeah. But then you go through different phases, they said. Yeah. So in the beginning, you're doubting yourself. But then after you make the first 6 hours, you think, well, I never thought I could make that. So, siguro I can make the next six. And then after you made that, you cross a boundary where you said, I've invested 12 hours. I don't want to give it up. It's like when you lose so much weight and stuff, and you've sacrificed so much. That's your mechanism to, or that's what keeps you.
Were you able to try that, James?
What?
No. To do that, the impressive challenge.
Oh yeah, but not for. I give up after 10 minutes or so.
10 minutes, right?
Yeah, I can't.
It's
can't,
hard.
and it's just I admire the people that do it. So I'm just encouraging people out there who would like to. You still have up until the leg is going to be somewhere on September 7 or something
Here
like that.
in Manila, right?
In Manila. So if you're in Pampanga, that is on the 24th. Davao is like this weekend, the Saturday. So that's 17th. And then the weekend after Saturday is Pampanga. And then the weekend after that is Manila. So there's still plenty of time to join. If you've never, it sounds crazy, but if you win it, what is your hourly rate? 81 hours.
And anybody can join this thing, right? Anybody can join.
As long as you're physically, cleared by a doctor, that you don't have any certain conditions. But basically anyone. And the people who tend to do well here are the winner of the Cebu leg. It came down to 3 people. First, we lost something like 5 or 6 people in the first hour. Then we lost another bunch of people when we did some challenges. And then after the
What
break,
do you mean challenges? While they're holding the
yeah,
car?
because in the Philippines we can't go 81 hours.
Why is that?
We're only doing pocket events.
Oh, okay.
So for them to stage an 81 hour, it's kind of rude.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
just to qualify,
Yeah.
it'd be like, you won. Why did I win? You won the chance to do it again. That kind of sucks, right? It's
You're
like,
right.
holy crap! Well, we'll give you. You still get prizes.
Yeah.
Like what? Well, you get a trip to Singapore with $300 spending money, and we'll put you up in a hotel room you'll never use because you're stuck there against the car, right? So, no, what they do in the Philippines is and all the regionals, they only do it for like 12 hours max.
Okay.
We did it before, I think, once for 24 or something, or 48.
So what happens, for example, 3 of them made it to the 12th hour mark?
Well, we don't even wait for that part. We started introducing the challenges around about the
okay, there are
mark.
challenges to
We called them
make them
off,
quit.
yeah.
Okay.
So we made them stand with their hand like that. Then they had to lift one leg up,
Oh, okay.
and then the other hand had to hold a water bottle.
All right.
Okay, that doesn't take 5 minutes, and people are just dropping off like flies. And then
But is it the same challenge as all the ones left holding the car, or
It's the same.
different?
What do you mean?
For example, there are 3, and then are they all going
Everyone
to do
does.
different? Oh, okay.
Everyone
it's the
does
same.
the same challenge.
It's the same challenge. Okay.
So it's like,
all
okay,
right.
on 3, 2, 1, everyone lift your arm up with the water bottle, and lift
okay,
your leg
that's
up, and
good.
the marshals are just looking around going, anyone who, if your foot touches the ground, or then the hardest one was the squats. You had to squat
Oh my
on one
gosh.
leg.
That
was how we.
Wala na
So you
talaga.
just,
Yeah.
you can really burn through them fast. Just to be able to, because otherwise they would be there for 50 or 60 hours, and we just can't do that for qualifying. So,
You're right.
so it came down to
you
the
would
last.
expect.
We had 24 people left, and it was about 7 o'clock at night, 7:30. About 7 o'clock at night, we had 24 people left. So they
Wow.
introduced this chat. That's at 107. That was about the 10
How many
hour-
cars?
3 cars, 2-hour mark, 10-hour mark. So he said, okay, guys, go. We're going to introduce this challenge. And we introduced the challenge. It was a 5-minute challenge.
Okay.
We had to cut the challenge short because 20 of them just dropped out.
Okay.
And we were like looking for,
Contestants.
you're building into a climax, and then all of a sudden you don't have that top 10. And so we had to stop, but people were just like giving
Yeah.
up. So they were just like flies falling off. So we got 3 left. I interviewed the 3 people, and I asked them what they did and all that. One of them was a student. He's 18 years old. One of them was unemployed, 19 years old. One of them was worked at KFC.
Okay.
He was a fast food worker. And all 3 of them had never been out of the country. And all 3 of them had dreamt to go out of the country.
Wow.
And that was, one person got his dream, and that was to...
That's amazing.
Plus $300 spending money and 10,000 pesos cash on the day from Motor Image as well, Pilipinas.
Oh.
So it's a really cool... cool event, and it's different, and it attracts a lot of attention. People walk by, goes, "What's going on over there?"
Of course, yeah.
And they patented it, so they tend to they kind of own that whole thing.
That's great.
Yeah, and then if you'll see, they'll go to Singapore and represent, and it's always very touching in Singapore because seeing the locals there.
And there are a lot of Filipinos in
That's why,
Singapore.
yeah.
That's why it's great to have events there.
It's great because
That have a,
they don't have family right with them.
yeah.
And in Singapore, during the breaks, your family take care of you. They go inside and they massage your hand. Some of them feed you because
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to lie down.
Yeah.
And they just lie down like that, and their family's feeding them like that, and somebody's massaging their hand, somebody's
Yeah.
massaging their feet and all that, because they only get 5 minutes to do it all.
Yeah.
And the Filipinos had nobody because, they flew in for it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what happened? All
What?
these OFWs, people who just work there, became their family and said, "Can we be your family and help you?"
Wow.
Yeah, so in the middle of the
That-
night, they would take turns, and they would be with them, and then they would take care of them and stuff. It was really heartwarming.
That is great stuff.
Yeah, very very interesting way of very interesting competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we covered that. What else did we miss? Oh, before we go, gotta talk to you about this. The movie Rush is coming out.
Okay.
Okay, it is the cover of this month's F1 Racing magazine. The making of Rush. It is something, if you only got the magazine just for this, it's already going to be worthwhile.
Yep.
This is stars Chris Hemsworth and also Daniel Bruhl. And it is based on the true story of the 1976 championship of Hunt versus Lauda. And this is going to be, for me, the movie of the year. I would
Same
not
here.
miss this for anything.
I can't wait for that movie.
It's in cinemas September 18.
Are we going to give away tickets, James?
We only have a limited amount of tickets, but maybe as it gets closer, we'll be able to give. I don't know. I'll have to ask them because I'll be hosting the actual premiere.
Premiere, okay.
Hopefully, I get 1 or 2
right.
tickets I can give away. And if you don't get free tickets to this, never mind. It is, if you are a Formula One fan,
Watch
you
it.
have got to watch this. But also pick up the copy of C with F1 Racing there, and you can get to read that awesome story that they did on Ron Howard and the whole backstory of Hunt versus Lauda 76. There was what's one of the quotes here that I found really fantastic. So there's a whole feature there on the man himself, Ron Howard. If ever there was a story that didn't need the Hollywood treatment, Hunt versus Lauda 1976 is it. It's just amazing. So great backstory there. Pick that up. Also, I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Unless
That's
you
it.
have something you want to share with
No, not really.
because I'm starving with F1, being gone for like...
I know, for 3 weeks, right?
3
Okay.
weeks, and they took a 3-week break before this. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
So when's the date? When's the next
It'll
F1
be
race?
the 24th.
24th.
Yeah, so it's still
long
about
way.
for 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Just under 2 weeks away, and it's going to be great. It's going to be Spa. They're going to return there, and it's also going to be. It's crucial for teams like Ferrari and Mercedes and Lotus to catch up because Sebastian Vettel seems to be running away with it again. Pretty scary stuff. All right. Well, there you go. 45 minutes just flies like that. We're pretty much.
I know.
We're done, and we'll catch you next week. If you want to tune in then, we'll be talking again about, we'll probably have a preview to the Grand Prix. Hopefully get our F1 experts in here, but we'll be talking about cars and motoring. Also, if we can swing it, what we'll be doing is we'll be trying to do a special show in between this week and next week, or maybe we can air it on Monday, with the Singapore Grand Prix.
Okay, yeah, you're
These
right.
people will come here, and we'll see, we might even be able to give away a ticket or two to the Grand Prix. You never know your luck in a big city, right?
You're right.
So keep your ears peeled for that. Hopefully somebody's got to win. Hopefully they give away a prize. But we'll be talking to the Singapore Grand Prix people about the upcoming Grand Prix in September 22, I believe it is, something along those dates. Till then, I've been James Deacon.
Alan, goodbye.
Drive safely, everyone.